What lessons can we draw from everything I told you? And I always try to end with something like this. What lessons can we draw? We so black. Instead of buying your children all the things you never had, you should teach them all the things you were never taught. Material wears out, but knowledge stays. That's very powerful. Let me repeat it. Instead of buying your children all the things you never had, like a lot of us are inclined to do, you should teach them all the things you were never taught. Material wears out, but knowledge remains. That's very powerful. And the basic. If we're fighting each other, we can't fight the enemy. What does that mean? We have to learn to love each other again. And believe in each other again. Trust each other. Have faith in each other. Work with each other. Spend money with each other. Learn to forgive. Don't hold a grudge all your life, because when we were in high school, you got the girl I wanted to and you took her to the prom. And 50 years later, I'm still pissed off at you. This is crazy. We have to be able to rise above foolishness. And a lot of us are incapable of doing that. So we're fighting each other, we can't fight the enemy. That was just an example.
I think that was an episode from Empire.
It may have been. Even though I've never watched Empire.
You need to have it. Well,
Anyway, that's another discussion, isn't it? My book for children. Because this is key. We have to work with the youth, but you can't teach the youth what you don't know. And funny things happen sometimes in the process of that. Now this is a picture that was floating on the internet. And I liked it so much, I posted it on my Facebook page years ago, over and over again. Little child, an infant, looking at, I think, one of these old ebony books that must have come out in the late 60s. One of them is Sojourner Truth. I don't know who the others are. In fact, let's see if we can do this. I wanted to try to, yeah, let's just do it. Uh-oh. I never did this before. I have no idea who those folk are. But they're African-American heroes and sheroes. So I've been showing this picture a lot, and all at once, one Saturday night in London, I'm doing a lecture presentation at the Marcus Garvey Library. And this woman comes up and says, "You know you're showing pictures of my baby, don't you?" I said, "Really?" She said, "Yeah, that's my child." And I said, "Well, can we take a photograph of her?" And she said, "Of course." Isn't that interesting?
that is awesome.
Social media. And so she handed me the baby, and we took the picture, and as soon as the picture's over, that baby started crying like he wouldn't believe it. Like, who is this man? And I say this all the time. And this was a message that came out today. Our history did not begin in chains and won't end in chains. They'll start with slavery. We got to discuss it. Enslavement, captivity, but don't start there. And when you do talk about it, don't just be a victim. Show that you resisted. And your ancestors tried in the face of overwhelming odds to maintain their humanity. That they did the best they could to keep the family together. That's very important. I'm proud of them. And then I say this again and again and again too. Sometimes I'll post something on Facebook, and before you know it, somebody will do one of these. My ancestors paid a tremendous price for us to be able to speak out against injustice. We don't have the right to be silent. We don't have the right. They paid a big price. The least you can do is speak out. If you don't do anything else, do that. And finally, black is beautiful, isn't it?
Yes.
But being black and powerful will be even better.
Yes.
Let's work for that. Culture Connection 360 is working for that. They always look out for me. They make sure I'm okay. They provide me a forum in which I can say virtually anything, express myself. And apparently you all think it's a good idea because you come out every time. So I'm grateful to you. I was down when I came here today. I'm not down anymore. What we do is not always easy. But once you know, then what you're going to do. You can't forget it. You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. Once you get this knowledge, then what you're going to do with it. And that's why a lot of people run from it. Because with knowledge comes responsibility. And I'm not running anymore. I'm not running from it, I'm running to it. So I want to thank you all for coming out today. And God bless you. And if I do say so myself, that was a good presentation. A person who is deeply rooted in religious beliefs doesn't care about facts, doesn't care about history, doesn't care about everything. They want to know, is Jesus your personal Lord and Savior? And if that ain't the case, you got nothing else to talk about.
Right.
Not ask a question?
Real quick. Yeah, and see, I was holding back on that because I wanted to kind of stay on track. Okay, but real quick, based on that, we have arguments and arguments, how heat discussion, and I'm trying to say, how do you talk? Just get the same thing. How do you deal with a Christian? All right, black folk. I'm talking about black folks. I know. But black folks, and you try to explain the I
don't do that anymore.
That's what I want to hear. But
so that's a losing battle.
That's losing battle. Let me ask you a question. This was my thing. Where I was saying you still have to be able. I guess my question is, how do you talk? And I have it too. How do you actually talk and express to them with truth? Here, with truth.
Give them the truth.
I mean, from taking them from the Kemetic, the Maya, to the Ten Commandments, which are out of that, to the Son of God, and the predated story of with Jesus really and coming back, to Christ. And when you try to say with facts, and you say, is there even a way that you can even adjust to meet them where they are and then take them someplace?
Faith can be more powerful than facts.
Absolutely. That's absolutely.
And you got to be careful.
Right.
Because when you take away a person's faith, they become the oppressor. You become the oppressor.
Right.
So that's a dangerous thing.
Right.
So I don't engage in religious arguments anymore. If that's what you want to believe, fine. I say, if you want to believe in those things, fine with me. Right. Spend your money with black people.
Okay.
And black man marry a black woman.
Right.
And join an organization of like-minded people.
Right.
So you got to kind of say, what can we do to bridge the gap? Because otherwise, it's you versus them.
What's the commonality?
And we need unity in our community. So if you want to be a Muslim or Christian, that's your business. Malcolm X said it.
Leave your religion at home.
We leave our religion in the closet. Because otherwise, we'll never have unity in our community. And it doesn't matter if you are right. You see, you can't, being right is not always the ultimate solution.
It's not going to win. Yeah.
We're trying to build together. So sometimes I just keep my mouth shut. And I ain't gonna argue with you. Okay. Have you spent any money with black people today?
Right.
Are you going home to a black woman? Are you in an organization of like-minded people who want to solve the problems we face in our community? Then you keep your religion and let me keep mine. As far as I'm concerned, you can worship this cell phone. I'm more concerned about what you do. Marcus Garvey converted to Roman Catholicism. Malcolm was a Muslim. Nat Turner and Harriet Tubman were Christians. Who did more for black folk than they did? So I'm going to tell you you're wrong because you believe in the Ten Commandments. I'm going to tell you you're wrong because you believe in the sanctity of Jesus. I'm not going to do that. Even though I may believe that, I'm not going to cram that down your throat. We are not going to unify our community with these religious-based arguments. It's just not going to happen. Well, it's counterproductive, I agree even though you may be right.
And this is my thing, and I agree with that, and that's but my subtlety with that is, okay, how do I move you? Because you mean Islam, Christianity, Judaism, Hebrews, all of that when it comes to black collective still seems to become a wedge. So it still becomes a wedge. Like I said, my thing is, if we want to have black Pan-Africanism, if you want to have it, religion literally has to be out the window in order for it to happen. Because you're a Christian,
you meet people at the right time in their life where they're open.
Because a Christian, like, hey, I'm not going to sit here with Brother Farrakhan because hey, they don't believe you.
But you know who are big supporters of mine? Members in the Nation of Islam.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So I should tell them, because you believe Yaqub created white people.
Right.
We can't work together.
He's a scientist.
No, you can't do that. You shoot yourself in the foot. And now remember, we ain't gonna deal. This is not a religious discussion because we'll be here till tomorrow.
Right.
Okay, now if it's something
That's why I
pertinent,
said-
I'll try to address it.
That's why I left it alone.
I know.
I hesitated, I came back, I hit, but then you gave me just a
Because you
little
stole
bit.
my girlfriend in high school. She went to the prom with you. Yes.
Hi, have you heard of the theory about there were 6 black women that founded the Native American nation? They were from Africa, they migrated.
Request. Just from the time I left till I get back. But I don't take a lot of these folks seriously. Because this just can't be, this is how you feel today. We have to develop a degree of consistency for me to have confidence in you. In other words, I'm looking for somebody to turn everything over to. My 1,000,000 photographs, my massive library, all my artifacts. What's going to happen when I'm gone? My biological family can't relate to that. And so I want young people who can take my stuff and keep on going. But I can't just do that to a person that I don't know and have confidence in. And that's the tricky part. How do you develop a relationship with younger people? First, they got to show you that they're serious. And that takes time. And I don't have an easy answer for that. Who has not asked a question? Yes.
Because the museum burned in Brazil, because the museum burned in Brazil, is there anywhere else there?
60%. But I would see until recently black people in positions of power and authority there. Now they have a black vice president, but he doesn't have any real power. Raul Castro still has the power. And this is what I'm told by black Cubans in Cuba, that there's a disproportionate rate of incarceration of black people. That black people are disproportionately poor. I've seen that myself. When you go in the hotels, when you go in places of Cuba, it's white people counting the money. So you can talk all you want about the socialist revolution and Che and Fidel and Raul, but I'm talking about what I see. And in my considered opinion, and sister, I'm going to use this term, I know you don't like it and it may not be accurate, Cuba is a white supremacist country. Brazil is a white supremacist country. The United States is a white supremacist country, and we live in a white supremacist world. Now, if you want to find a better word for it, I'm all for it. But those are the realities. And these places that say, I don't see color, and we're all the same, and we're just Puerto Ricans, and we're this BS.
Multicultural.
The people who say that are the ones who are in positions of power. The ones who are suffering ain't saying that.
Did Fidel Castro originally study to be?
Or that. It's usually nuanced. It's a combination of things, and we shouldn't try to simplify it. We must deal with the complexities. Last questions. Way in the back. Is your hand up, or are you just stretching? Yes.
All right, 2 questions. Okay, going back.
Now, Jackson, shut us down when we need to.
Going back to the Olmec statues.
Yeah.
What type of stone were those made of?
The Olmec statues or the Olmec heads?
The Olmec head.
Basalt.
Okay.
Very hard stone.
All right. And how?
That was easy.
And how
No
were they
controversy.
able to transport that?
Well, they went to the quarries, and apparently, and I haven't been to the quarries. I keep saying I'm going to go, but I haven't been. Armel Peel, my brother. Speaking of the Olmec, he went with me on the trip to Mexico a couple years ago. Good brother there. They apparently dug them out of the quarries, a solid block of stone, and put the block on a barge and sailed it up or down the river. And then probably rolled it or dragged it to the construction site and probably finished it there. Maybe put the features on there.
I'm talking about the actual Olmecs. Is that what they did?
Yeah,
Do you think that their sciences was much more advanced than that?
maybe, but now we're speculating. Now my brother was pointing out that he believed that the ancients used levitation, etc., etc.
You sound, concentrate the sound wave and you amplify it, you can move anything.
See, that's possible. So it just tells us we have a lot more research.
Yeah.
But what the evidence tells us.
Okay.
Next. All right, brother, we come back to you.
Okay. First, is it true that Dr. Ben willed his entire library to the Nation of Islam?
I heard that. I don't know if
That's
it's true. I've
30-something
never been
thousand
able to
books.
verify it.
30-something thousand books.
I don't think he had that many. What he allowed?
All right, second question. Have you heard about the Kemetic Temple in the Grand Canyon? If there's a...
I heard about it, I don't believe it.
You don't believe it? And why not?
Why would the ancient Egyptians be in the Grand Canyon of all places? How would they get there? Why would they be there? Now I can see them being in Mexico because you can follow the current. There ain't no current going to the Grand Canyon. I think a lot of stuff that we see on social media, we really need to examine with a fine-tooth comb. Because there's an article written about it, and the article is absolutely ridiculous. It's inaccurate,
Yeah, I read it.
misspellings.
Yeah, I read it.
I think that some of the stuff that's on social media is planted there by Russians or white supremacists to make us look foolish because they figure black people will believe anything. If I said right now, if I went on Facebook this moment and said I found evidence that 500,000 years ago, black people had spaceships going from Saturn to Pluto, within seconds people would be pushing the like button. Not that there's any evidence for that, but it sounds good. And we've been denied so much of our history that a lot of us are prepared to grasp virtually anything without any real critical analysis of it.
Right.
We want to be proud of who we are, but our history is so great we don't have to make stuff up. And some of the things that people post is ridiculous. There's a picture of Mozart painted black on Facebook.
Yeah.
Somebody circulates an image of a black woman saying this is Shakespeare's mother, and she's the one who wrote all of this stuff. There's a sister named Sarah Bonetta Forbes who was adopted by Queen Victoria. People are saying this is the young Harriet Tubman. These things are foolish. And a lot of these things are circulated because they sound good. They make us look good. And for people that everything taken from them, if you come to them with information that's positive and reaffirming, we're likely to believe that. My position is be a critical thinker. Even if I say it, go check it out.
What do you think about the work of Dr. David M.
Yeah, brilliant scholar. I consider him a friend of mine. We don't agree on everything, but I like him and I respect him.
I bought the book.
First Americans were African.
Right. I got it in PDF form. I haven't started reading it yet.
You see, we don't have to agree on all things all the time. And we ain't got to fall out behind it. We can still be nice to each other, and we can see the big picture. I pointed out the stars in the heavens, the African proverb goes, but all you saw were the tips of my fingers. I want you to see the big picture. And Culture Connection allows me to come and share with you a couple times a year. I've lectured here at least 7 or 8 times. And I've had a good time every time. And I'm looking forward to the next time because there's so many things that we can talk about. So I want to thank you all for coming out today. We had a good session and thank Culture Connection. You want to make any final comments, any announcements, any upcoming events?
Yeah.